when the sense of non-doership falls off, it's like you see that you were never the doer in the first place, in the same way that you see that you were never the dreamer, that you're not the dreamer. I wouldn't compare the analogies too much except for that point where what I call is a first order change. A first order change is when you change something within the state that you are experiencing. You become more happy, or you shift gears, so like in a car if you have a manual. When you're in first gear, you can only go from 0 to 15 miles per hour before the engine starts. And then you have to shift to second, and then you shift to third. And when you shift from second to third, you're going so fast that you can't shift back down into first gear. It doesn't apply anymore to you. So in the same way, with the waker, whatever happens in the dream doesn't apply. And so when the sense of personal doership falls away, all the things that apply are connected to the sense of personal doership. Like we're talking about the mystical state, these concepts, applying the concepts to the ego to make it happier, that all falls off. So it's like you go from first gear to second gear. Everything that happened in the first gear no longer applies. You're in second gear now. So there's no questions about mystical state. There's no concern about suffering. There's no concept of acceptance or powerlessness or all these Advaita concepts. There simply is. Okay, so you're having a dream that a lion is chasing you in the forest. Mm-hmm. And so in that dream state, you're thinking about, am I going to live? How can I escape the tiger? Should I climb up a tree? Should I jump off this cliff? How can I get a weapon? All those concerns are for the dreamer, because the dreamer is being chased by a tiger. And then you wake up from your dream. Are you going to be concerned about getting a weapon now? Or jumping off a cliff? Or a tiger chasing you? The whole thing dissolves.
And same with the waking state too, when it's seen that I'm not the doer of this waking state body, having these whatever experiences, when that's also seen not to be so, then that's the waking up from the waking state.
Well, then this is a little bit, yeah.
Language, I know.
Yeah, it's a little bit of language.
Yeah.
Because the sage doesn't negate any of the states.
Right.
Because consciousness, what the sage understands is that there's consciousness through all three states.
Right.
And when it is the waking state, it's the fullest manifestation of the personality of the body-mind mechanism. And in the dream state, it's a partial manifestation of the personality. And in the deep sleep state, the personality is an unmanifested form. So in Sanskrit they call it or Advaita, they call it the causal body, the subtle body, and the gross body. And the causal body is what causes everything to manifest, because it has, in the deep sleep state, what's called vasanas, V-A-S-A-N-A-S. And vasanas is the root word is vas. V-A-S means fragrance. And so it's basically your being. Who you are doesn't change the three states of consciousness. And consciousness is present throughout all those three states. And so when it comes to the dream state, the personality is in its subtle body form, partially manifested. And then in the gross waking state, there's the body and everything is manifested. So the sage doesn't negate any of those states. It knows it's part and parcel of the manifested universe. So it's not a waking up to Turiya or the fourth state, where there's something even beyond it. Because then if you wake up to the fourth state, well, why couldn't you wake up to the fifth and sixth and just keep going? So it's an integration of the three states of consciousness. Knowing that consciousness is the underlying thread. And that is the fourth state, that understanding, the integration of all those. And understanding that it happens not just with this body-mind mechanism, but all body-mind mechanisms. So if you think it's like the sage wakes up and then it's like he goes back into the waking state and kind of views the waking state as we view the dream state, that isn't what I'm talking about.